What's up guys, this is Chris here, and today we're going to be doing a quick review on a rifle that we've had for a few months. I'm going to be going over the Mossberg MVP in 300 Blackout. Now the Mossberg MVP is a very budget oriented option, especially if you're looking for a do-it-all rifle. This is an interesting and good way to go as long as you know what you're getting into. We're going to discuss the pros and cons of the scout rifle concept a little bit later in this video, but for the first part I'm going to talk about what this rifle is, what you can use it for, how much it's worth, and if that's good enough. Now, the bolt action rifle concept has been around for a very long time and has been used in many conflicts around the world for the last 150 to 200 years, and it works well. There's some advantages, there's some disadvantages to bolt action rifles over modern semi-automatic rifles or other actions like the lever action, for example, or even pump action rifles, which were popular for a while. This one in particular is done very well and it's relatively affordable, which is one of the reasons I was attracted to it. The gun has an MSRP of around $650, however you can find it for well under $500. We found this one for about $475, and that was at my local big box store. And it comes with some interesting features. Again, it takes AR style magazines, which is very nice, but you're gonna have to run the 300 Blackout magazines. I saw a lot of people saying you can use 5.56 mags. I wouldn't recommend that because you have issues with feeding because 300 Blackout's a much bigger cartridge. And on top of that, with a bolt gun, they can be relatively sensitive. And then on a budget bolt gun, the actions are even more sensitive. So 300 Blackout magazines will be your friend if you get this in 300 Blackout. However, they do make this in 7.62x51, 308. They make it in 5.56, and I believe a couple other calibers as well. But I was interested in the 300 because it's super quiet, especially out of a bolt gun. Now, it comes with a threaded barrel, which I definitely needed. Comes with a high definition front sight with a scout style rear sight. Not very accurate setup, but it is quick, and if you're shooting within 100 yards, it will work well. I do recommend making use of the included Picatinny rail though. We've got a primary arms 1 to 10 optic on here, which I think fits absolutely perfect. This rifle with its ballistic capability with the 300 Blackout, you can do subsonic for super quiet shots out to around 150 pretty easily, and then you can do supersonic and push that much further, 300-400 yards. However, you're gonna need a magnified optic in most cases to do that. Arc is gonna be a little bit more extreme than something like a 7.62x51. So if you want to go out a little longer range, I would recommend the 308 or the 5.56. Much easier to do that. However, this is going to be a much quieter system suppressed. Now I know they make subsonic 308 and 5.56 as well. However, those have a lot of accuracy issues, even though they will be reliable in a bolt system, because one of the advantages of a bolt over a semi-auto is you manually operate the action, so ammunition won't matter quite as much as a semi-auto. The powder in the semi-auto operates the action, whereas your hand does it with this.
Ooh, that sounds sexy.
A little bit slower, but another advantage of a bolt action rifle is they have a tendency to be more accurate. This included, this is around a 4 MOA rifle in my personal experience, with the Federal 220 grain, and then we primarily use the Seller and Balat, if that's how you say it. I just say S&B because I'm from Iowa. And we use the 200 grain. This is the cheap stuff, and it works super well and grouped well also. Very low recoil on the subsonic, obviously a little bit more recoil than a 5.56 on the supersonic, and that's because more powder equals more bangy bangy. So you're gonna have that. Now the grip itself felt great. The polymer stock that the action and barrel is laid into has good texture, sling swivels on the front and the rear, and it has a pretty good trigger as well, which is certainly good for a bolt action rifle. We'll show you here. And we'll show you on the other side. Very good. Custom 1911 quality, and that's what you would expect from a bolt gun. You get 1 shot per action, so that shot has to be precise, so the barrel quality and the trigger quality has to be good on a manual operated mechanism like this, in my personal opinion, or you don't get the benefits over it and you might as well go to a semi-auto. So trigger's good, and accuracy on the barrel is very good as well. It is an A2 medium contour barrel, so it is going to be a little bit heavier, and the barrel length is 16. I should have mentioned that. It's a very short gun for a bolt action rifle because this is not meant for long range. This is meant for a hunting application or self-defense in maybe, let's say, a band state or something like that. And I think in that configuration it works well. I wouldn't want a longer barreled 300 blackout bolt gun for me personally, because this is mainly going to be used, in my opinion, hunting and varmint shooting, and then also plinking at 100 yards and in. Now the weight on this guy is 6.5 pounds. I saw a lot of other people say that's very light. To me personally, that's not very light for a bolt gun, because you're going to be putting rings, you're going to be putting a scope on it, and probably some cheek piece if you want to shoot really accurately, and that's going to knock the weight up to around 7, 8, or even 9 pounds depending on what glass you use. So be aware that even though it's a bolt gun, it is going to be heavier than your average semi-auto when it's all kitted out, or at least mine was. Now, as far as the actual process of the review, we shot about 200 rounds through this, which is a lot less than we normally do, but 300 blackout's a little bit expensive, and bolt guns just take much longer to shoot a bunch of rounds through because you have to operate the bolt each time.
Mossberg bolt action by a semi-auto.
And to be completely honest and transparent with you, I'm not the biggest bolt action rifle guy, especially up close in a scout configuration like this. This was more of an attempt to try this out and see if it's my kind of thing. And honestly, I'm more of a semi-auto guy. Ricky Bobby likes to go fast, and semi-autos are faster after all. The application of a bolt gun, in my personal opinion, is more extended range because you do get more inherent accuracy out of the bolt gun system. However, if you are looking for a scout rifle, this is a super good way to go. And if you learn how to run the action, if you learn how to run the bolt successfully, you are going to be fairly quick. However, in my opinion, the Mossberg has one of the worst actions I have ever had on a bolt action rifle.
Oh.
Now, I'm a bit of a Bergara guy. I think Bergara is great for the money. They're going to be about double the cost of this, but I also have a Ruger American, a Ruger Predator. I have a Savage Axis, and several other bolt action rifles, which I felt had a better action and were easier to use than this. It does have the fluting on the chamber, which looks very cool. However, in functionality, the action honestly kind of sucked.
Come on, baby.
And both my wife and I had more of our share of troubles actually getting the rifle to feed than I thought we should, considering this, the price of this actually comes out higher than the Axis, the Predator, or the Ruger American. So that is a big knock on it, and considering the action is your interface with the firearm and you're going to be doing that every time, just like a lever gun, the action is extremely important because that is what you are going to be fucking with while you're shooting it. As far as the rest of the rifle goes, it is pretty generic in my personal opinion as far as the feature set. It has everything you need and nothing you don't. For a close range bolt gun or a scout style rifle, I would have really liked to have a Picatinny rail on it for a weapon light. Now, I know that seems a little extreme, but honestly, if you're going this route anyway, you might as well have all the bells and whistles, and I feel like it should have had a set of M-LOK or a Picatinny rail that you could have at least put on there, and none of that is there. Now, the trigger's good, the barrel's good, the action kind of sucks, and the reliability was good, but not good in the same way, because although the gun does work every time, if you're always struggling with the action, it's just so much slower. And if somebody was shooting at me personally, I would not want to be fumbling with this thing, and I would be much more likely to go with a different $500 rifle. If I was looking for self-defense and I was in a state that I could purchase it, I would probably get something like the Smith & Wesson Sport or something like the Bear Creek Arsenal BCA 15, because they're both under $500 as well, and they're semi-automatic rifles that work very well. Now, they might have slightly more reliability issues than this gun does. However, over the course of firing, way less problems in my opinion, because you don't have to dick with this finicky action. Now, I love Mossberg, and they're one of my personal favorite makers of shotguns. I don't really like their handguns all that much, the MC and the MC2. However, their rifle I was really attracted to. I like how it looks. I like the feature set it comes with. I just was underwhelmed by the performance of the action itself. Other than that, I think it's a really good gun. It has a rubber butt pad on it, so the recoil is very manageable. The magazines go in and out relatively nice. The magazine release works well. The Picatinny rail was installed out of the box, and the muzzle was threaded right from the box as well, which are all features that are good for under $500, just not great. I do live on a ranch, and the Scout rifle is literally meant for a ranch rifle, and I still see no purpose in it because of the more modern day Shorty 300 subgun, like PDW style, can take the same cartridge, basically have the same ballistics, same accuracy, but you get a semi-automatic package for similar in price. Like I said, the BCA, the Smith & Wesson, they're similar in price to this, and both of them can be chambered in 300 Blackout. So I think this is a cool novelty item, but for serious use, I think it should probably be relegated to the past. Now, that's a controversial opinion. I do like bolt guns, and I do like them over 500 yards, but for 500 yards and in, give me an AR any day. Overall, I think it's a good gun and a good starter gun, especially if you're into the whole Jeff Cooper thing. Sadly, I'm just not. So instead of doing the 1,000-round review, this is probably the only review you're gonna see. Let me know in the comment section whether you like the Scout rifle, maybe some of the pros that I don't see personally, or I just don't use. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Please support our Oklahoma shelters, and remember to recycle. I'll check you later.